Alarming text messages from a former public safety city leader. New tonight, an expert weighs in on the dangers these messages pose to the city and residents.
The people who suffer the most are the residents of Baltimore City.
A significant step in the ongoing fight against BGE, the efforts from city leaders to outright ban external gas regulators. Anne Arundel County seen a 600% increase in stolen cars. We examine exclusive video showing another teen crime spree and the challenges police are facing to hold them accountable.
I don't think it's become easier in light of recent changes.
Tracking showers for tomorrow. I'm timing it all out so you don't get caught without an umbrella.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Kai Jackson.
And I'm Mary Bubala. Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott under fire tonight, facing 3 controversies involving members of his administration.
Questions surround the mayor's nomination to lead the fire department as concerns surface over a past criminal charge.
Still no answers more than a month after the Brooklyn Day shooting, as the mayor and police leaders aren't being upfront with Fox 45 News when asked about the investigation.
And a text exchange first reported in the Baltimore Banner between 2 now former city officials hints at a plan to get rid of the deputy police commissioner.
We begin with Keith Daniels and concerns about those text messages.
Well, at a time when the mayor has said it's all hands on deck when it comes to the city's fight against crime, these revealing text messages suggest otherwise among at least one of the city's former top public safety leaders, and tonight what that could mean for city residents. They are the words, reportedly, of Shantae Jackson, then the outgoing director of the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement, or MUNSE. Her text messages to then Police Commissioner Michael Harrison. As reported by the Baltimore Banner, who obtained the text messages, Jackson fired off a series of texts to Harrison, while Harrison was, as he texted Jackson that night, front and center of what was a contentious city council budget hearing June 6. Time to get rid of Barksdale, Jackson wrote. We can take him down and figure out the rest, she later added. Harrison did not respond to her subsequent messages that night. Eurypsy Morgan.
The bottom line is that the mayor has got to get a handle on City Hall.
With the group People for Elected Accountability and Civic Engagement, or PEACE, weighs in on Jackson's turbulent text and what it could mean for city residents.
I think it's very obvious that when you have that type of infighting, you have this kind of mismatch. The people who suffer the most are the residents of Baltimore City. That tells you that they're not focused on what really needs to happen, and that's keeping the residents of Baltimore City safe.
The text were referring to Anthony Barksdale, the city deputy mayor for public safety, who oversees police, MUNSE, the fire department, and Office of Emergency Management. Before joining the mayor's staff in July last year, Barksdale was a tough critic of BPD's public safety strategies. At his appointment announcement, he made a public apology to Harrison.
While I'm here, while I'm speaking, I owe someone an apology for past statements, and I'm man enough to say, I am sorry, Commissioner Harrison, if I've said anything in the past that is offensive to you. I want to work with you. I know we're going to work great together, and I want to move forward, sir. Thank you.
Tonight, the text. We pressed the mayor about them. His reaction. Few words.
Deputy Mayor Barksdale's record speaks for themselves as a deputy mayor, but also as a public official and a former leader of the Baltimore Police Department. That's it.
I'm not surprised that the mayor did not address it directly, because it really speaks to his lack of managerial capabilities in this and so many other situations.
Well, in his response, the mayor went on to say that he wanted to focus on the 25% reduction in homicides and the overall reduction in violent crime that's happening across the city. Reporting tonight, Keith Daniels, Fox 45 News.
Keith, thank you. That brings us to our question of the day. Do you believe government infighting is putting your public safety at risk? So far, 90% of those who voted say yes. You can head to foxbaltimore.com/vote to weigh in.
Well, Fox 45 News continues to demand answers to the response to the Brooklyn Day mass shooting. More than a month after 2 people were killed, 28 others hurt at the annual block party. No arrests have been made in connection to the shooting itself. And Baltimore police admit they overlooked several key indicators of a developing threat on the night of the shooting. Fox 45 News pressed the mayor and police commissioner about the shooting this week.
About Brooklyn? No, you can't. No, you cannot. You cannot. You don't want to answer?
I'm a Baltimorean, and I'm not going to talk about how close we are and who we're coming after.
A 17-year-old is facing riot and gun charges in connection with the incident, but has not been charged in the shooting itself. Neither police nor Baltimore Housing Authority say they knew about the block party ahead of time. Fox 45 News found video of past Brooklyn Day parties revealing it happens around the same time every year and has a history of attendees with guns and drugs at the event later in the night. We also know Safe Streets workers were at the event hours before the shooting and conducted a series of mediations, but then left. Monzi still hasn't answered any of our questions about Safe Streets' response and what those mediations entailed. The City Council will hold another hearing on the shooting next month.
Fox 45 News is investigating concerns surrounding the nomination of James Wallace to lead the Baltimore City Fire Department. A report reveals Wallace faced charges decades ago for an incident involving explosives. In a story you're seeing first on Fox, Alexa Ashwell hears from a deputy state fire marshal who says he responded to the call back in 1992. She also pressed the mayor about the nomination.
The mayor is standing by James Wallace as his nomination for the city's next fire chief. Meanwhile, we're hearing from a former member of the state fire marshal's office who says he responded to this call with his bomb-sniffing dog. Under the lens, the mayor's nomination for the Baltimore Fire Department's next chief, James Wallace.
We shouldn't even be talking about this because they're expunged records.
Shortly after Wallace's nomination, his criminal past made headlines. Back in 1992, he was charged with having possession of pipe bombs and possession of explosives without a license. Records show Wallace was a paramedic at the time and temporarily suspended from the city. The charges now wiped from his record, but many questions remain. Now we're hearing from a former deputy state fire marshal, John Brazil, who said he responded to that call more than 30 years ago.
I was called to the scene as a canine officer. I had an explosive canine dog to assist in the search for any explosive items.
Brazil sharing these old pictures with his bomb-sniffing dog. He says officials were originally called to an apartment complex in Bel Air after reports of someone setting off fireworks. And that's when he came into contact with Wallace and another young man.
And assisted in searching 2 apartments and located what was called M80 fireworks, which are basically a large firecracker. They are dangerous and unsafe and illegal then and now. They were only about no more than 2.5 inches long. They were a red cardboard tube with cannon fuse sticking out of them.
So why then was Wallace charged with possession of pipe bombs? Brazil explained.
The law under fireworks were just up to a certain amount of powder, and basically any larger fireworks came under the pipe bomb law. These are, again, dangerous, but they were just over the edge as far as crossing line between fireworks and what was considered pipe bombs or explosives.
Exactly how those charges played out in court, unclear. But Mayor Brandon Scott defending Wallace.
First, I will say that they weren't pipe bombs, they were fireworks.
And standing by his nomination.
This is something that does not disqualify him. These records are expunged from the record, and they're done that way for a reason. And we look forward to continuing to see his service and leadership.
Interim Chief Wallace still awaits City Council approval. We've reached out to some council members for a response. We're still waiting to hear back. Meanwhile, Wallace is also receiving support from the local fire union. The president releasing a statement we've put on our website, foxbaltimore.com. Alexa Ashwell, Fox 45 News.
Mayor Brandon Scott is also facing questions about another one of his recent appointments, Acting Police Commissioner Richard Worley. The Baltimore NAACP president, Kobe Little, says the city should have opened a broader search before nominating Worley, in his opinion.
This incident, we told you guys this incident was going to happen when we had our last press conference. This is why you need community engagement on the front end before you bring in a police commissioner. So I hope that every member of this council is taking very seriously your responsibility to vet a police commissioner.
Well, Worley also faces questions about his residency. City code requires the police commissioner to live within city limits, but Worley lives in Anne Arundel County. Worley says he plans to move to the city. The acting commissioner is holding a series of town halls to give residents a chance to voice their concerns about public safety starting next week.
Well, it happened again. For the second day in a row, Anne Arundel County police say a group of teenagers stole a car in the Brooklyn Park area. Fox 45 News obtaining surveillance video of the theft. It's similar to the video we saw just yesterday showing what seems to be a group of teenage girls running away after police said they tried to steal a vehicle yesterday. 15 teenagers have been accused of similar crimes in the area over the past 2 days. Some of them couldn't be charged, though, because of their age. Fox 45's Vincent Hill has a closer look at the recent crime in Brooklyn.
Yeah, some of those suspects not even in the 6th grade yet, meaning the cops can't even detain them.
Pay close attention to this home surveillance video taken around 2:30 Thursday morning.
I noticed a burgundy SUV pull up. They were driving up and down the street.
That SUV, a stolen Hyundai, taken earlier that evening.
One guy got out. He center punched back passenger window. He dove in. He didn't even unlock it, like open the door. He dove in.
A few seconds later, 3 suspects seen exiting the stolen Hyundai and getting into their next target, this Kia SUV.
There was a total of 3 males and 1 female.
A few hours later, Anne Arundel County police responding to a hit and run involving the stolen Kia. When police caught up to it, a foot chase.
7 juveniles fled, and 5 out of the 7 juveniles met the criteria for being arrested and charged.
3 14-year-old males, a 14-year-old female, and a 13-year-old male now facing charges. The 2 other suspects,
one was an 11-year-old and one was a 12-year-old,
free to walk away. A similar situation around noon Tuesday. This video shows 3 teen females running away after trying to carjack a woman less than a mile away from last night's theft. And later that evening, 5 teens caught in the same area after crashing a stolen Kia into a fence. 2 of them, 12 years old, too young to be charged.
They're using the vehicles to joyride in. They're using the vehicles to go out and commit other crimes.
Christopher Anderson with the Anne Arundel County Police, acknowledging the difficulties for law enforcement when dealing with juveniles.
I don't think it's become easier in light of recent changes. It makes it more challenging. The 11 and the 12-year-old, had it been a carjacking or an attempted carjacking, that meets the criteria for those offenders to be charged. But since it was a crime against property, which motor vehicle theft is a crime against property and not a crime of violence, it does not meet the criteria for charging.
And according to Anne Arundel County Police, this time last year, only 25 Hyundais or Kias were stolen. This year, 170 to date. In Baltimore, Vincent Hill, Fox 45 News.
Well, many young people can't be charged because of Maryland's juvenile justice laws. The Juvenile Justice Reform Act prevents children 13 and under from being charged with most crimes. If a child commits a misdemeanor, the maximum sentence is 6 months probation. If a child commits a felony, the maximum penalty is 1 year probation. Well, some criticize the Child Interrogation Protection Act as well. It stops law enforcement from speaking with any child until that child has spoken with an attorney. Police and prosecutors across the state say their hands are tied when it comes to going after young offenders.
I think without question, over the last several years, the General Assembly has changed a number of the laws that deal with juvenile crime, and I think that's certainly led to some problems.
They have hampered us by not allowing us to actually interview juveniles to question them about the crimes that they've committed or the individuals that they've committed the crimes with. And this has hampered investigations along the way and has not kept this community safe as a result.
2 Maryland legislative committees plan to meet in September to look into how juvenile justice laws are impacting youth crime.
This is a very sad day for America. This is a persecution of a political opponent. This was never supposed to happen in America.
Former President Donald Trump pleaded not guilty to 4 federal charges today regarding his efforts to interfere with the 2020 election. He appeared in federal court this afternoon in D.C. Trump says he's done nothing wrong and he's being targeted for political purposes. It's Trump's 3rd indictment since he left office. Coming up in about 20 minutes, chief political correspondent Scott Thuman has a reaction from a busy day in Washington and what comes next in the legal process.
Well, we've got a few showers that are south mainly of 50 right now. If you're going to Bowie as well as Silver Spring, south and east of Annapolis onto Kent Island and portions of the Eastern Shore, got some rain that way. Outside of that, that's pretty much the only game in town, although lots more rain to the south, even some severe weather. And then there's some thunderstorms over northern New York that are drifting southbound. Both of those could have some play in our forecast for tomorrow. For tonight, could see a stray shower. I don't think any lightning or thunder. Temperatures in the mid to upper 60s. I'm going to let you know when we'll finally clear the rain and get hot once again. My Weather Authority forecast.
Jonathan, thank you. Coming up on Fox 45 News at 10, a man accused of killing his mother's on-again, off-again boyfriend on the run. How you can help track him down in tonight's Maryland's Most Wanted. One Baltimore City councilman proposing legislation to ban external gas regulators in the city. A closer look at this latest move in the ongoing fight against the BGE project. And right after the break, the pushback against a judge's decision to dismiss a murder case when a prosecutor simply called in sick. The criticism from a former judge.